How's everybody doing? We're here, Severance, Season 2, Episode 3. Each of the characters made some big moves this episode. Dylan met his wife. Irving went back to O&D. Mark and Helly are trying to find Miss Casey. Mr. Milchick is celebrating his promotion. And Cobel is, I don't even know what Cobel is doing, honestly. So let's go through them one by one and let's talk about it. But what did you think about the episode as a whole? I don't know. It was a good episode, but it doesn't feel like it's on par with Season 1 for me. I don't know. I feel like it's losing a bit of the magic from Season 1. If you remember, I said in the first video I did on Severance that it reminded me of the Stanley Parable. It reminded me of The Matrix. It reminded me of Portal. And I feel like it's losing that type of magic because now we're involving so many different variables, so many different characters, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But the what I liked about especially the Stanley Parable and Portal is like there's not many people involved. It's the mystery, it's the weirdness of the location and what's going on, okay? Now we're sort of moved past that. I mean, I get it. It's a TV show. You're going to have to introduce multiple different plot points to keep the audience engaged over a long period of time. But I guess I just miss the simplicity of Season 1. We focused primarily on the innie-outie dynamic and what those characters are going through. What is the overall mystery? And I mean, yes, we did dabble and we did touch on other mysteries like what's up with Charlotte Cobel, what is Cobel and Selvig's whole situation. We had the story with Rickon and his wife and all of that stuff, but everything was pretty much supporting the singular story of the innies at Lumon. And don't get me wrong, that is the primary focus of the show, but now we have taken things outside of the office. It's a much bigger story now. Again, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but imagine you're playing Portal, okay? You're in Aperture. That's all you know. You have no clue what's going on. You're just doing the puzzles. You're just going through the experiments and you're trying to figure this out. But then imagine all of a sudden, now you have access to information on the outside. You understand the bigger players in Aperture and how they interact with the world around them and all that stuff. Maybe you even start going down storylines with those bigger players and you get into a whole different perspective of what's going on. You would start to lose a bit of that initial magic. It's still interesting, but it's not the exact same. I'm not saying that's exactly what's happening here, but I feel like this episode was a step in that direction. Okay, enough of me ranting. Let's start out with Dylan. Dylan got to meet his wife. That was a cool moment. While everybody was busy rebelling and trying to investigate and all that stuff, Dylan was like, yo, I got to be on my best behavior because this is the perk of all perks. And I'm not missing out on this one. I want to meet my family. So he pretty much sat at his desk, did his job while everybody else was doing their thing. We're going to get to that. And Dylan was rewarded. He got to meet his Audie's wife. And I feel like his Audie's wife is going to fall in love with him. Because she works nights, Dylan works days. She never gets to see his Audie. Okay? On top of that, he's kind of he's a mess up. He's kind of a loser in the sense that what is he doing? He's not really doing much, okay? He couldn't get a job, which is why he picked up this work, right? His innie at least can work even if he can't, you know? And he hasn't achieved his dreams. So he's lost in life. He probably has anxiety. I'm just reading too much into it right now, but I mean, he's probably stressed out, okay? He's not in the best state mentally. I would imagine so. But his wife still loves him. She is super sweet, okay? But she meets Dylan G, the snarky, quick-witted yet sweet Dylan that can actually hold a job, that has something going for him. See, he has a sense of purpose. While her husband, Audie Dylan, is kind of like a stay-at-home dad, you know? I really do, man. I really do. I feel like she's gonna fall for any Dylan. I really do. And to prove that, when she goes home and she's there with her husband, he asks her, "Hey, how was your day?" And she was like, "Yeah, that's fine." Obviously, he wants to know how the whole thing was with her going to meet the innie. Oh, that's insane, okay? That's never happened before. That's what he's asking. She avoided it. Why did she avoid it? She's feeling guilty about something. Why? Because there's some kind of connection there. She wanted to avoid that subject. She's developing an emotional connection with the innie. 100% fact. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I call it right now. Okay? I call it right now. Speaking of innie and outie love, let's move on from Dylan. Let's go to Irving. Irving went to O&D for the first time since, he's missing Britt, okay? That scarred him. He's back in O&D. All these memories come back. You have the black lady who is there, who's working there, the coworker. They meet up, they're talking, they're reminiscing, and it's a super sweet moment. They have a hug and everything. And Irving gives her a notebook showing a picture of Britt that he drew. Because, you don't see him anymore. He's literally dead. His innie is dead. He's gone. All right? So you're not seeing him. There's no pictures, no nothing like that. Okay? So it was nice for her to see Britt, like Irving's drawing of Britt. And that's also interesting because now you see skill sets pass from outie and innie, from outie to the innie. That's cool. Okay? But then she sees the other drawing, the other sketch of the elevator. And she knew what it was. I think she called it the export hall. They used to send paintings over there. The export hall, where are they exporting to? To the outside? Could that be a way for them to get out? Okay? I don't know. They used to go there themselves, but now they send a guy. Speaking of mysteries, Mark S. and Helly R. are trying to solve a case. They're trying to solve the mystery of missing Miss Casey. And they're going around handing missing posters to all the different departments. Well, they're going to the GOAT department. The reason why Irving went to the O&D department was to show the missing Casey poster and all that stuff. So they're going to the GOAT department, Helly and Mark. They stop in the middle of the hall and they're looking at each other. Mark is like, "Hey, I hope you're not uncomfortable with all this because I'm trying to find my Audie's wife, but we kind of have feelings for each other." And he's smiling all awkward, like that any Mark S kind of smile. And the way Helly reacted was not how I expect Helly to react in that situation. She usually takes control of situations. She's not so awkward in those type of situations. And I know there's been theories going around that is not Helly R. That is Helena, the Audi, undercover at Lumon. That's honestly a crazy theory, and it's extremely possible. That's extremely plausible, okay? I usually don't like to look into theories and think about all that kind of stuff because I like to go on the ride the show takes me. Especially with one like that, dude, because I feel like that's so good. That's pretty much it. Like, I feel like it is. I feel like that is going to be it. That's actually Helena and not actually Helly R. But I don't want to think about that because when it comes time to actually do the reveal, I want to be surprised. Okay, so they're going to the GOAT department. They go there. There's a little latch, like a little doggy door, a little goat door. They crawl through it, dodge some little poops on the ground, and it opens up into this pasture type room. And you have Gwendolyn Christie, Brienne of Tarth pop up out of nowhere. That's one thing that kind of like, okay, yeah, this is a TV show. Because first season, I was so immersed. I was so involved in this world. It detached me from reality, I've seen some of these actors before, but they're extremely transformative. Like Irving's character, I've seen him in Transformers. I've seen him in that, some other show. He was playing a lawyer. But the way he acts in this show is so good. I don't see him. I don't see the actor. I don't see the other people he's played. I just see Irving. Okay? But Gwendolyn Christie, I see her. I guess because I've seen Game of Thrones more recently or whatever. But I see her. I see the actor. I don't see this new character. But anyways, they're in this room. They're meeting people from a division that they've never met before. She rings a bell and a whole herd of other people, dude dressed up like a ram comes out, and they're asking, they're kind of weird too. Like they're weird because the whole rumor of MDR, they got pouches and like all this weird stuff. Like they literally asked them to lift their shirt to look to see if they got pouches or not, and they obviously didn't. But yeah, she rings this bell, everybody comes, and they surround them, and they're showing the picture and all that stuff. There's a lot of tension is being built here, but it ended up with, yeah, they know Miss Casey, and Miss Casey's done sessions for them as well. So we're making some progress there. And thinking about the goats, man, like if there's stuff that I missed in season 1, like the 4 tempers. One of them is visually represented with the man with the goat head, you know? That's what the 4 tempers were, the ones dancing at the waffle party. And you have this goat division. What's up with the goats? And speaking of the 4 tempers, that's one thing I missed. You guys pointed it out in the comment section. The last shot of the first episode of season 2, it shows Mark S's screen, and it said Cold Harbor. That's the project that they want Mark to work on, that he is working on. He's the only one who can finish it. And they kind of like zoom in, do this weird effect into the screen, and you see Miss Casey, you see Gemma. Okay? So she has something to do with the case. Is she the case? Is she Cold Harbor? Like, what is he sorting? Is he sorting the tempers out of her? And is that why Mark S has to work on that case? Because he knows Gemma, and he's pulling these tempers, or whatever the 4 tempers were, like Frolic and I forgot what they were, pulling those emotions from her. Like whatever they feel bad, whatever those bad feelings are, is he pulling them from her? Is that why she's kind of like a monotone kind of robot walking around, because he's stripping her of those emotions? I don't know what's going on, but it's interesting. Again, I don't want to read too much into it because I don't want to come up with the solution before the show gives it to me. Because when that happens and the show gives it to me, I'm going to be disappointed because I already know the answer. So let's move on from that and let's go to Audi Mark. Audi Mark is doing some crazy stuff. He's trying to burn a message in his retinas, the title of the episode. Who is alive? So he's going to work. He's timing it and everything. He's trying to see how long the message, the after image can stay in his eyes. But the doctor from season 1, who did the reintegration, who actually put the chip into everybody's heads, knocks on his door and is like, "Hey, yo, this is not going to work. Stop doing this. You're just gonna blind yourself. If you want help, we'll do the reintegration. I bettered the procedure. We can do this. I can bring your 2 personalities together. I can make your innie remember." Immediately, Mark S jumped on that, but I felt bad. I immediately felt bad because, again, the innie has absolutely no say. Mark S is willing to do anything. He's willing to fuse the 2, okay? Bring them together. So he is conscious at Lumen's severed floor. But what about Mark S? What about the innie? What about him and his relationship with Helly? What if he wants to be with Helly? Oh, now he has memories of him and Gemma, of him and Miss Casey. What is he going to do with that? You just ruined his life. Okay, so again, Mark S, the innie, has no say in his own life. It sucks. All right, now let's talk about Miss Cobel, because she is the biggest mystery in the show to me. I mean, not looking at the overall, what is Lumen, what are they working on, all that stuff. Not the overall mystery, but character-focused mystery. She's probably the biggest mystery. Well, before we get to Miss Cobel, I got to talk about Mr. Milchick. He got his promotion, right? He got his promotion, and they celebrated his promotion in the weirdest way possible. I mean, I get it. Lumen is weird, but this was weird for Lumen too. Like the way they celebrated his promotion, and they did this for Charlotte and Miss Cobel. It was a way for him to see himself in Lumen, and it was old paintings of Keir Egan, but it was Mr. Milchick. I guess to push the mentality that, hey, you're just not a cog in the wheel here. You are part of Lumen. You are not just working for a corporation. You are working for yourself also, because you were invested. This is part of you. This is who you are. This is what you're going to do. And I mean, it's kind of twisted and everything, but that's Lumon. And his expression was like, yo, what am I looking at? Like, he was also like, what the frick is this? You putting my face, my black face on a white man's face. What is this? Like, it was weird. It was weird. Like, you really want me to see myself in Keir Egan? Like, what? And it must have been weird for Charlotte and Cobel. They're women. You're going to superimpose their faces onto Keir Egan? Like, that's even weirder, honestly. Like, I don't know. It's weird. And another thing that's weird is, like, I get it for the innies to act weird. Because they're innies. They got no other memories besides Lumon. But Cobel acts weird. Milchick acts weird. Like, how are they on the outside? Why do they act weird? I don't know. Why don't they act a little bit more normal? I don't know. But since I brought up Cobel, let's get back to her. So she's driving around. I don't know what she's doing, dude. I really don't know what she's doing. She has Charlotte Cobel's, like, the breathing tubes in the back seat. Who is Charlotte Cobel? Is that her mom? Who is it? Is it it's a relative of hers, got the same last name? Is it her? Is it her other name? I don't know. Who is Charlotte Cobel? Whoever she is clearly an incentive. It's clearly a motivating factor of what she's doing at Lumon. There's a clear connection there. But what else is going on? So she turns around and looks at the breathing tubes, and then immediately turns back and goes to Lumon and confronts Helena and asks to be put back on the severed floor. What does Charlotte Cobel have to do with the severed floor? And what Miss Cobel Selvig is doing on the severed floor? Her experiment with Mark S. and Cold Harbor. What's going on? What's going on there? So anyway, she's talking to Helena, and they decide, hey, we're going to bring this up to the board. Don't go crazy. Calm down. Let's go. We'll talk about this. And Helena walks off. Cobel follows. They're walking. Cobel stops. Sees Helena's driver. The camera focuses on Helena's driver. Helena's out of focus. The driver's in focus. Cobel's staring at him. Turns around and walks back. Gets into the car. Drives off without hesitation. What was that? Who is the driver? Is the driver severed? And does Cobel know an innie or outie version of the driver? What's the connection there? Like I said, Cobel is a mystery. I don't know what's going on with her yet. But, I mean, this is only episode 3. We'll find out. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Are you sharing some of the same gripes? Or not necessarily gripes, but concerns maybe that I have? And where do you guys think the show is going to go from here? I wonder how many episodes they're planning for. I got to look that up. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What did you guys think about this episode? And I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.